This is my 2024 Husqvarna FE450 that I bought new in April of 2024. I've put over 50 hours on it since then, and I have some thoughts about this bike I want to share with you. So this is a 50-hour long-term review and how I feel about the bike. In my opinion, the FE450 is the epitome of jack of all trades but master of one. It excels in high-speed trails but can still handle the technical rocky trails and even some slab time if necessary. It has the premium build quality you expect for a bike priced at $12,000, and so far has been perfectly reliable. One of my favorite things about the FE450 is the engine characteristics. It doesn't have that initial hard hit and twitchiness of a traditional MX450. It's much softer, and I've come to like it quite a bit. I'm used to the old 450s where if you breathe on the throttle, it's ripping. A buddy of mine has a 2006 CRF 450, and one day we switched bikes, and his bike was so much harder to ride because of that initial hit and twitchiness. The FE is so good that it'll turn you into a lazy rider if you're not careful. The bike doesn't care if you're in a gear too high in a turn or on a hill climb. It has enough power to pull you through without needing to slip the clutch. It comes with two maps, traction control and quick shift. The difference between the two maps is noticeable. Map 1 is the white map, and it's toned down for more technical riding, and map 2 is the green map, which is more aggressive. The biggest difference I've noticed in the green map is that it gives you a faster throttle response. I primarily ride in the green map as I like to do fast flowing single track, but the times that I have had the bike in technical rocky sections, switching to the white map and turning traction control on has basically been a cheat code. White map is soft and tame. It's good if it's your first time on a 450 and you're intimidated by the power. I also switched the throttle cams from the stock to the aggressive cam, and it definitely helped with the get up and go without being too sensitive or twitchy. Husqvarna absolutely nailed the fueling on the US model FE450. There's no emissions or smog pieces that you need to pull off, and as long as you run the stock pipe, you don't need to worry about running too rich or too lean. Every time you grab the throttle, it doesn't skip a beat, there's no bogging or flameouts, and it will pull you through the entire rev range. It also seems to get pretty good fuel mileage. I can get about 75 miles out of the stock 2-gallon tank. Maintenance on the engine is easy. For an oil change, the interval is every 15 hours. I wouldn't recommend going that long between oil changes. I usually do about 8 to 10 hours. But overall, the oil changes are easy. There's 3 drain bolts, 1 screen, and an oil filter. It takes no more than 10 minutes to service the bike. Most of the other general maintenance, such as valve checks, are scheduled around the 45-hour mark, so it's not as maintenance heavy as some of the other options. The suspension is pretty impressive out of the box. If you're over or under the 180-pound spring rate, you definitely want to get the suspension resprung though. Most people will do a respring and a revalve at the same time, and I think with how good the shim stack is on the forks and shock, I'd say to save the money and spend some time dialing in your clickers. They actually do make quite a bit of change just playing with them, and I don't feel the need to do a revalve right now. In my opinion, the only people who want to do a revalve are the top B guys and probably A riders, but for the rest of us, playing with the clickers and getting the correct springs is all that the suspension needs. The brakes leave a bit to be desired, and there's an active recall on them due to casting flaws right now. The front brakes are pretty squishy, and while they do the job, if you're an advanced rider, they're gonna feel underpowered. The rear brake feels pretty good, and you have decent control over it not locking up right away. As far as the recall, from my understanding, it affects all 22 through 24 motocross, enduro, and cross-country models that have the Brake Tech brakes. I wish they had put the Brembo brakes on here. I mean, you can add them if you really wanted to, but I probably won't. The ergonomics of the bike are nice. I'm 6'4" and feel like there's still plenty of room in the cockpit. The handlebar mounts are adjustable, but where they come from stock feels good. I also like the stock Pro taper handlebars. I'm not sure what bend it is, but they're comfortable even after 3 hours of riding. What's not comfortable after 3 hours of riding is the seat. It's your typical 2x4 seat with no cushion. You will get monkey butt if you don't stand up or get an aftermarket seat. I also really like the stock pegs, which surprised me because they were definitely on the narrow side. The problem is they're just not durable. I hit a rock at like 10 miles an hour and it bent the pegs, whereas I just smoked my new flow peg on a rock going about 30 miles an hour and it only has a scratch in it. The foot controls are nice. I like the big tip on the shifter, and the brake lever is easy to find. I do also like the clutch and brake hand levers. They're comfortable and I don't feel the desire to replace them. Overall, I'm really happy with the comfort of this bike and how it feels after hours of riding. So let's talk about riding this bike. I said earlier that it's a jack of all trades but master of one. you can safely assume that it's a master of hauling ass. It's phenomenal in the mid to high speed single track. It tracks where you want it, the gear spacing on the stock sprockets is near perfect, and you can basically pick a gear and stay in it. The bike is a 10 out of 10 in that kind of riding. Now let's talk the tight, technical, rocky gnar. I am by no means a hard enduro guy, but I have taken the Husky out on some rocky technical trails. You can see my video titled, "Surprised How Good a 450 Does in Rocky Technical Single Track," which I'll link below in the description. But in the white map with traction control turned on, it can hold its own. It's by no means a 300 two-stroke, but it doesn't flame out and it has plenty of torque to get you through the stuff. But you do feel the weight. If you're more interested in the slow technical riding, the FE450 isn't for you. It can do it, don't get me wrong, but it's not the right tool for the job. Another area I think people might be interested is in street performance. This bike doesn't come street legal in the US and I have not converted mine, but they're easy to get plated in most states. I have ripped the roads around my house to get to riding spots, and while it's not the best for street riding, it can do it. It'll cruise at 55 and not be too revvy or too vibey. It can keep up with traffic, and as long as you're sticking to roads under 65, it's definitely not the worst for short periods of time connecting trails together. Overall, this bike is top-notch and worth the premium asking price. I love riding it and will keep it for a long time. And that's saying something because I went through 5 bikes in the last 7 years. If I had the choice to only own one bike, this is it. It can do everything I want to do with it, and I love the way it handles and rides. If you're looking for one, I would highly recommend the FE450. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.